Hey there, we all naturally have the tendency to overthink from time to time, some more than others. While it is typical human behavior, it is also one of the most self destructive behaviors we can have. Any self improvement novel or any of the article will tell you that if there is one thing that robs your happiness quickly, it is overthinking. While you cannot control your thoughts, and it is the hardest thing to do so, it is vital that you do not let overthinking run your life. Otherwise, this will result in the negative and harmful way of living. Well, in this video, we will be tackling everything you need to know about how overthinking kills your happiness and how to turn this destructive habit around. So, what does it mean to overthink? Overthinking means that you are putting too much weight on your negative thoughts. As an individual, it is a natural instinct to feel emotions like anxiety or fear. Most often than not, these are the core reasons why we overthink sometimes. We overthink situations before they were even happen because we are scared of the outcomes, or we overthink sometimes that has already happened simply because we cannot move past this. Again, as much as we all overthink as part of our nature, this is not healthy behavior. As in, you are making mountains of a molehill without even realizing it. Overthinking actually encourages you to go into a spiral of negative thoughts, and even if the majority of those thoughts are irrational, you believe them anyway. This is primarily what makes overthinking such a destructive behavior for any of the individual. It is acceptable if you do it with proper self-awareness and self-control, well balancing your rational and irrational thoughts. However, if you are someone who tends to believe every thought in their head, it can become very harmful for you. This means even your senses of self-worth and confidence can be affected by listening to your that negative thoughts. Even if that is not the way you really are, you believe in your thoughts anyway. So if you are genuinely wondering what it means to overthink, it is spiraling through the same set of thoughts constantly and letting that control your life. So, what are the signs of an overthinker? Now we will talk about this. If you are resonate with some of the things we have already talked about above, you must be wondering what the signs are. These are the specific indicators to know for sure whether you are an overthinker or not. Number one is an overthinker dwelling on the past. We all tend to dwell on the past from time to time. We just cannot help it, as it is the way we were wired. Particularly if something terrible has happened in our past or in your past, you cannot quite get over. And you keep replaying this over and over in your head, and especially when you are overthinking about anything. You fixate so much on the past that it prevents you from being in present or to think about your future moment. This also means you dwell on your mistakes and terrible decisions. You either blame everything on yourself or find something or someone else to blame on. No matter how hard you try, dwelling on the past becomes second nature of you. Second thing that an overthinker do is fixating on things you cannot control or change. When it comes down to it, there will always be things you cannot control or you cannot change. The more you try to control certain situations or the outcomes, the more frustrated you get. If you are an overthinker, you have a tendency to focus on things you cannot control. If things don't go your way, and if the factors behind it is out of your control, you obsess over it anyway. Your thoughts and mind begin to spiral the negativity of every situation. But again, the more you fixate or fixing a situation, the more stressed out you become. Life will always become uncertain and unpredictable, and it is the part of the beauty of life. Well, overthinkers will always tend to obsess over the things they cannot change since they cannot help it. since overthinkers are always quite anxious people. Controlling outcomes is their way to gain a sense of balance. And the third thing that overthinkers usually do is they self-blame themselves. When you are overthinking more than usual, the tendency is to put yourself at fault rather than anyone else. You replay the same scenario over and over in your head. You think and assume that everything is automatically by your fault, and even if it is the exact opposite. You also secretly believes that everyone is constantly judging you and that people do not like you the way they say they do, actually that they like you, but you do not even believe it. Even when it comes to your loved ones, you think they secretly have something against you. Overthinkers have the biggest insecurities when it comes to this, and they always think that things are their fault. Number 4 thing is overthinkers never ending their worries. Anxiety is the central theme for everyone who overthinks. It is not like they can help it, but they get anxious from their thoughts only. There is always the feeling they are not good enough and that a particular situation will happen. If anything happens, overthinking is also one of the signs of anxiety and vice versa. These two are so interconnected that it is unlikely you can have one without the other. Now, the fifth thing that overthinkers usually do that they have difficulty in sleeping and eating. Since overthinking results in anxious behavior, it is most likely that your health and your lifestyle are also affected. Your mind is the most powerful aspect of you. So if you tend to dwelling on your negative thoughts, this can be harmful for your overall life. Overthinking encourages you to repeatedly replay your thoughts even if the cycle is far from healthy. It's your thoughts that keep you on all night and cause you not to have an appetite. So in general, overthinking doesn't just affect your behavior but your lifestyle whole as well. Now we will talk about the 5 reasons why overthinking kills your happiness. So let's start. Now that we know the science of overthinking, here are some of the primary reasons why overthinking kills your happiness. And the first one is, it is stealing your time and your productivity. Overthinking steals both of your time and productivity faster than you realize. Instead of leading a highly productive day and life, you end up dwelling on your negative thoughts only. This puts a halt to all your work tasks and your responsibility, especially if you are overthinking triggers your anxiety. You will end up feeling stuck without accomplishing anything, all because of your overthinking tendency. Not to mention, staying like this will eat up all your time. This is why people who overthink at night end up with no sleep at all. It is not only that overthinking kills your happiness, but it also consumes your time and your energy, since negativity is that energy consuming. So the next time you are overthinking, think about the time and productivity it is eating away. Second thing is, it magnifies your problems. We have talked about how overthinking kills your happiness by creating mountains out of molehills. This is one of the habits that has the ability to magnify your problems, whether you realize this or not. Whether you are overthinking about a situation that is just about to happen or dwelling on your past, overthinking enables you to create problems that are not even there. We are not implying that your thoughts are invalid, but as we said, your negative thoughts come from a place of insecurity and your fear. And because of this, you are unintentionally magnifying your problems that were not even there to begin with. Third thing is, overthinkers misses the opportunities. Another way overthinking kills your happiness is by causing a lot of missed opportunities, not just for your career but also for your personal life. When you are over calculating every aspect, and while it can be handy, overthinking will cause more missed opportunities than you realize. This can cause a lot of regret on your end when you realize you let your fears and your anxieties get in the way of living your life. Fourth thing is overthinking destroys your relationships and your friendships too. You might think that overthinking doesn't affect your relationships at all, but that is a false statement. Overthinking is one of the habits that involves all your relationships and your friendships with your loved ones. It creates limiting beliefs that are probably not true. Since you keep dwelling on your thoughts and believing in facts such as your friends doesn't like you anymore or your partner hates you, this causes a wall between you and the people you love. Fifth thing that overthinkers usually have is oversensitive. When you overthink, all kind of thoughts pop up into your head, both rational and irrational. Thoughts such as you are not good enough in anything and that you will not be able to get anything in your life, whatever you tend, because you believe in it. But your negative thoughts won't let you believe in yourself. Not to mention, overthinking as a habit causes you to be hypersensitive about anything or about everything in your life. When someone you love says or does something off, at that moment, you might take things personally, and as a result, it will be easy for you to become offended, even if that the person's word or their actions were not particularly targeted towards you. And in the end, overthinking kills your happiness because you always take things personally. So now here is a question. Is overthinking considered a mental illness? Well, overthinking is typical behavior that is not defined and identified as a mental disorder. However, as we have already mentioned above, it is linked to the illness like anxiety or depression. Several mental problems have overthinking as a symptom or a sign. This is because overthinking kills your happiness and disrupts your life as a whole. When the underlying cause is a mental problem like anxiety disorder, all the more this will shift or change the entirety of your life for the worst. You worry about every single thing, even if you do not necessarily want to. However, it is also important to note that you can overthink even without an illness, which is also a great part of any human being. Maybe you were raised in a negative childhood or experienced a particular trauma. This can trigger your overthinking, even if you do not have a mental condition. So, how do you stop overthinking and start living a happy life? Now let us talk about this. You can stop overthinking by changing your mindset and realizing that you are guilty of this behavior. Every self-improvement novel will tell you that the key to getting better is to recognize that you have a bad habit. Admitting this to yourself is the first step, and you can take things from there. Of course, you shouldn't just stop there. But the next step should be to shift your mindset as a whole. When you look back at your thought process during overthinking, you would realize that it follows a cycle. This means that there is a central theme for all your thoughts usually when you overthink about anything. Maybe there is a theme of your fear of abandonment or intimacy or need for attention. Well, whatever it is, there is always a theme. Realizing this can help you see what inner problem you need to fix, and only then could your overthinking might more manageable. Well, this could also help to encourage in healthier habits that counter your overthinking, such as physical activities, doing meditation, and practicing yoga. Lastly, stopping overthinking comes from within and realizing that there is always be things beyond your control, and that is okay. You can only stop overthinking when you actively change this pattern. People who overthink tend to realize that this is the pattern they have gotten used to, and it can be challenging, but it is not possible at all to change this pattern. So this is everything you need to know about how overthink kills your happiness and ways to overcome this destructive behavior. And I believe that it won't be easy to overcome this, but it is vital for your healthy and well-being that you try. Otherwise, you will lead a negative and destructive life. Every action and decision you make comes solely from your thoughts, and when your thinking is led to dwell on the negativity, this will affect your aspect of your life. Not to mention, this is also affects your potential of building healthy and effective relationships and friendships with others. Overthinking will always kill your happiness, and it is important that you keep this in mind. Well, this is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this video very much. Do tell us in the comment below how you liked this video and how we can help you in stopping overthinking. So, this is it for this video. This is Divya from Tegonity Academy. We'll see you soon in a very new video. Till then, goodbye. Take care.